Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's lesson we're going to go over how to build this plant system. If you haven't seen lessons 1 through 6, I highly recommend you go back and watch them. That way you're prepared for all the information we're going to go over today. But in today's lesson, we're going to go over the wiring that it takes to make this happen and the coding. So let's get to it. All right, so let's jump into this. At the top of our ladder, we start with the float, so we might as well talk about that wiring real quick. First thing I want to show is the float down in there. You see the float and the pump. Now the float is physically connected to this 3D printed cap that I 3D printed. I can show that for a second, and then we'll put that in the description. It'll be a Thingiverse link if you want that. We have a hole for our float wires, and then we have a hole for our wiring to the pump to run the pump, and then our tubing to go through there. And so the float's super easy. We give it 12 volts and then to one wire, and then the other wire goes back to input 1. The 12 volts just comes from this little power supply right here. And we bring it up over to the plus and minus. And that's what feeds 12 volts to everything in this project, including the PLC here. So the pump, once again, is pretty easy. The pump wires, it gets its negative, and then the positive side right here is supplied through output 1. And it's just 12 volts. So we supplied 12 volts to one side of the output. When the output clicks on, then we get our plus 12 volts going to the pump. Our second output here, we're actually bringing in 120 volts into the output, and then the other side goes to the plus of our light there, and then the neutral side is just going back down to the plug-in. You can see the 120 volt plug down there. This little, I think they call it a buck converter, but it goes from 12 or 24 volts down to 5 volts. So we're bringing in 12 volts into it, 5 volts comes out, and that's for this sensor. This sensor is the moisture sensor, and it is meant to have 5 volts coming into it. So the plus and minus is 5, and then the third wire goes over here to input 2, which is our analog input. Then our other wires, this is output 3, and it goes to our fans, and it's just 12 volts. And our fans are there to kind of simulate the wind that the plants would normally have outside, and those kick on and off throughout the day. I think that basically sums up the wiring. It's pretty simple on this project. So you can see through some of the code here. If the tank is full, then it's going to enable this float enable. We use that in a couple places, here on line 2, and again on line 9. Basically, this is going to make it to where the pump's not going to run unless the float is where it's supposed to be. Here's a float low timer. That way the float actually has to be low for a certain amount of time. We can look at that variable real quick. Looks like it's 20 seconds for the float low timer. Then we have our float low flasher, and that's going to flash LED 4, so that'll be one of our diagnostic LEDs on the front, or at least that's what I'm calling it. That way if I walked up and my laptop isn't connected, if LED 4 is flashing, then I know right away this tank's empty and I need to fill it. Another LED we use on the front is LED 1, and if you poke this button you can see it flash. And that is done through a switch case. So you can see here's our logic for that, and that'll set different timing increments for one of our timers. You can see that's done there where it actually sets the different time for the timer, and then here's where we do our flash. So it'll flash 500 milliseconds on and off, and it'll do whatever the time was in that case. So if it's 10 seconds, it's 1 flash, 20 seconds, 2 flashes, 30 seconds, 3 flashes. And if we go into debug, live debug mode, we can see some of these values. And the whole reason that we do that is our pump run timer. And this is how long the pump's going to run once it decides that the soil is dry. So if we click it, you can see it change on the screen to 10. Now we're 20. Now we're 30. So as these plants get bigger, I started out with 10 when they were just seeds. So every time the soil would get dry, the pump would kick on for 10 seconds. Now I've been at 20, and then when the plants get just a little bit bigger, I'll kick it over to 30. If we go over to the sketch, we've done this in some of the lessons where we've done our shared variables, got our soil sketch bit, and our water sensor. All I'm doing in this logic is basically once the soil gets below, the sensor gets below a certain point, it's going to delay for 40 seconds, then it's going to set this bit true, otherwise it's going to delay again, it's going to set it false. And if we go back over to our ladder, we can see here's our soil sketch bit right here. If it becomes true, after a certain amount of time, oh, looks like our soil is actually getting a little bit dry right now. Let me pull up my watch window. Yeah, so it's hovering right around 38 to 43, somewhere in there. So here in a couple hours, it's probably going to trigger. But that was the whole reason I wanted it to actually be, 20 seconds, and then we actually have more delay over on our sketch side too. So I just wanted to make sure the soil is actually, to the moisture content that we want it before we'd start watering. So that's where that's done. So here's some logic we do with timer timing. So basically what I wanted to do there is if a timer starts timing, while it's anywhere in between its beginning and the end of its timing, I want it to make a bit true. That way, it was just an easy way, like right now you can see this light run timer, and you can see that our light's on. So any time that the light run timer is incrementing its time, it's going to make a bit true, and then over in our main ladder, somewhere down here, we're going to see light run timer timing. So there's one of the bits we use. Yeah, so right here, light run timer timing. It's true right now. It is timing. You can see that we're in the debug mode. It's blue. And then as long as the light off timer isn't timing, then it's going to turn the light on. And that's where we've done that logic. But so you can see in the ladder how we're controlling it. And then all we did in the main was just set up to see when it's timing, make a bit true, and then we can pass that back over to the main ladder. So I've done that with the pump run, and then the light run, light off, fan timer run, fan off timer. We have our fans here. It's going to simulate the wind. What else do we have over here? There's our case, our flashes. Okay, so here's where we bring in the water sensor. We've done this in a lesson before. Last time we used a potentiometer, but now we're using an actual sensor. And then this is where I do the scaling. And then right here is where we set it equal to our shared variable. Right here, the water sensor sketch. That's how we get it from the scaled water sensor variable that we created over here. All right, let's see what else we have. This is just kind of an over-under scaling to keep it within 0 to 100. We have a 3-day emergency timer, and that I'm just scaling its value to a percentage to where I could understand where it was at. The reason for that, if you look at the 3-day emergency timer, it's got a massive number in it, and so I wanted to be able to see what that was in like a 0 to 100%. So here's our 3-day emergency timer. That's just the elapsed time. And then somewhere I have, right here, here's our percentage. So as you can see, we're not anywhere close to that running. It's only at 0.06. Now the whole point of the 3-day emergency timer is if my sensor quits working, I want this thing to water at least once every 3 days. And I think that actual, if you do the math on that value, it's actually a little over 3 days, but either way. Then I also set LED 3. And the reason that I wanted to set that is I wanted to know, hey, if I walk out here and I'm just looking at it, my computer isn't hooked up, if I see LED 3 on, then that means that 3 days passed before the sensor told me that it was dry. So I just wanted to know that, and then you can see I reset that if I change my timer value. So basically, if I hit this user button, it's going to reset that LED 3. But just another diagnostic bit. You can see once our 3-day emergency timer override finishes or becomes true, it's going to kick off the pump run timer enable and the 12-hour water reset timer. You can kind of see how that logic works out. And then here, so we did one of our like flasher timers where it'll flash on and off. We did one over here in the main with our case statement, or at the end of our case statement. Right here. And then I decided to do it in the ladder for the float low flasher timers. So you can see kind of what that looks like in the ladder. So that's kind of the gist of this program in a nutshell. I mean, it's a lot longer than the ones we've covered, and I can't go over every single variable because there's 52 of them. We just don't have enough time for that. But that's kind of the gist of the program. And some of these extra variables were just so that I could see percentages versus raw values. And some of the code here is me just scaling things to where it looks nicer for me. But, I mean, if you just wanted to do down and dirty, you could probably cut this program by like 60% and still make it work. So one thing I would like to show is I would like to show our pump actually pumping. And I have a way of doing that. I can just pull this sensor out of the soil just a little bit. But I kind of want to get the screens up here that I want to see. So we can see our water sensor sketch. It's becoming true for just a little bit. Not long enough, so I'm going to come over here. I'm going to pull this out just a little bit. Okay, we're almost there. Oh, just missed it. Pull this out just a little further. $18, $19, $20. Okay, so now our soil wet relay is on. But our pump run timer enable is not true. And that's because we haven't had 12 hours since our last watering. Here's our 12-hour water timer. We haven't quite hit it. We're kind of close. I can change this variable real quick on our 12-hour water timer. And I can just go to, just put a period here, reconnect, re-download. And that's all it took. We just needed that timer to be finished. So I wish this would have been up. I can actually pull the sensor all the way out of the ground since I made this such a small amount. It's already done. So all we're waiting on now is the soil wet relay. Now, it's still partially out of the ground. If I push it in just a little bit, yeah, it should get quite a bit higher. Let's pull it out and let it run again. And this time, we'll do it for 30 seconds. So it runs a little bit longer. And so remember, anytime this timer is timing, you see that kick on. As long as that's timing, our pump's on. And I could actually probably, yep, I can kick that midway and kick it off since my timer preset went down to 10 and we were already above that here. And then now our 12-hour timer is going again. Now normally this would be 12 hours, not 28 seconds, but you get the gist of it. So that's kind of this project in a nutshell. Okay guys, well this is the Plant System 3100. I hope you learned something. Hopefully at the end of this lesson you would be able to build something similar to this or different, but through all these lessons so far, this should be a culmination of all the different skills that we've learned to be able to build your own project. So, like always, if you haven't hit that subscribe button, do it, hit the like button. We'll see you next time.